and welcome back to the channel, and if you're here for the very first time, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British early retirees, we've got no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. Now this Friday is a continuation from Wednesday, and the video from Wednesday is linked, is where we answer your questions. And today we're going to answer more of your questions. And all of the questions today are about our property and where we live. The first question that we had said, why don't you live in a place that has less work and less maintenance? Right, the first point is that we are optimistic people, and whenever we buy a property, we see the potential. So we are always the people who will buy a house that other people wouldn't buy. So we bought this place, it literally had no windows in it, but we saw the fact that it was connected to mains electricity, it was connected to mains water, and it had a new roof. And we knew that this place had a massive, massive potential. We also saw things like the fact there was a hectare of land and there was a stream at the bottom of the garden. And this house is on the best street in our town. The house faces south. It's surrounded by woodland. As I said, there's a stream at the bottom of the garden. There's only 2 houses on our road that has a stream running along the border of the property, us and our neighbour. And that makes it a very popular property. We have a lot of garden, but actually it's pretty low maintenance. Most of it, Mike can sit on his lawnmower and he can ride around the garden and cut it in a few hours. There's quite a bit of trimming to do, but everything else about our garden, the things that we will do, for example, cutting up a tree that's fallen down, you only do that once because that tree is there and then it's gone. So lots of things about our property are really not as difficult as you think. And we chose a property with plenty of space purposefully. We are not sat on your backside, feet up, lazy people in any way. We are grafters, we like the work, we like to be outside, we like to be physical and being busy. So that's the reason why we didn't choose a house that had less work and less maintenance. The next question said, when you turn 70, you say you plan to leave the current property that you're living in. Where do you plan to go? I want to reiterate that we said in the video, by the time we are 70. So that could be before we're 70, but before we're 70, we will not be living here. And where will we go? Currently, but things could change as our feelings change. We plan to go south to chase the sun. There are parts of France that get 300 days of sunshine a year, whereas we get about 300 days of cloud and rain a year. And this winter has just about finished me off. It really has. It started raining and being cold in October, and it was still raining and still cold right up until the end of June. And I was completely and utterly bleeped off with it. So, my current feelings are, when we go anywhere, we will head south of Nantes, Loire and south. So, yeah, where will we go? Anywhere where it isn't bleeping well raining. The next question asked us, would you downsize or sell up to free up some cash? We're property owners. All the time that we've been together, we've always, been property owners. We'd never rent. Not unless we were in between houses, not unless we'd sold this and we were going somewhere else and we were fixing that one up and we needed somewhere to rent in between. But no, we are property owners, so we would never sell up and just have the cash. But would we downsize? I'll tell you something quite interesting. Just using our area, for example, neat and tidy little modern houses, like 2-bedroom modern houses with central heating and all those sort of modern things, cost more than a house like this. So we probably wouldn't ever downsize. We're always going to need at least 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. We have a bedroom, we need a spare bedroom. I have a sewing room. Mike has his office, creative space. So we'd never have anything less than that. And funnily enough, bigger houses can often cost less to buy than smaller houses. And we're great believers in the fact that you can live in part of the house where you keep it warm and cozy and all of those things, and have other rooms that you just keep as in not cold, not suffering with the temperature. And as we've already explained to you, if and when we do relocate, we're going to go south. That's our current feeling at the moment. I have no desire to move up next to the Belgian border or anything like that. Or wherever you go in France and you go south of Nantes or you go into the Loire and down, you are going to have hot summers. It's just the way it is. I know some people don't like that and they would like, would rather, I don't know, sit in a fridge all day long and really wouldn't want to do that. But once the temperature hits 30 degrees, I stop feeling cold. And Mike likes the warmth as well. So would we downsize? No. Would we sell up? No. Would we buy a cheaper property? Maybe. Some areas in the south are definitely cheaper than this area. So maybe, absolutely maybe. But like we said about, having a property with lots of work with it, we are opportunists, and we're also optimistic, and we also like to fix a place up and take somewhere and add value to it. I know some of you are going to write you can't do that. Yes, you can. We know what we're doing. It's what we've done with every property we've bought in the UK and here. So we really do know what we're talking about. We do our research really, really, really well. So no, we would not sell up to free up cash. So we'd be spending that cash on paying rent. And no, we wouldn't downsize. We might buy our next property is definitely not having a hectare of land. But then I'm going to give you some caveats of unless. Unless it was like on the side of a mountain. It's like, what do you do on the side of a mountain? You don't garden it, do you? You just kind of leave it be. Unless it was a field that we could, rent out or let somebody else use. Or sometimes property can come with woodland. There's not much you do to woodland. You leave it be. You trim a few trees. You cut up the trees that have fallen down in storms. So that's about it. So hope you like my answer. The next 2 questions are about our basement. And the first question is this: why don't you fix up your basement and open a bed and breakfast? Okay, as we shared with you in our previous video, if you want to have 2 businesses, it's not as easy as you think. So we are registered as YouTubers, we make our living as YouTubers. That's our SIRET number. That number's public, people can see what it is. So if people want to come and stay in a bed and breakfast, we can't do that on the same premises. We can have a separate business, but it can't be here. It can't be on the same address. So if I wanted to set up a quilting studio, just an example, it would have to be on a separate address. Then I can do it. But we can't do that here. Second part about our basement is it doesn't conform to what is a room. So for example, I can touch the ceiling. It doesn't conform to head height. So by the time we added in the ceiling, we added in insulation, and we added in insulation to the walls, which dry lines the wall. By the time we bring the floor up to tile the floor, we'll lose another 5 centimetres, a few inches, and it definitely will not conform. It's only one room. And one room, if you want to do a bed and breakfast, you'd need to have a room, you'd need to take up less of the room to put in a bathroom in there as well. The other part of it, as we shared in our previous video, if you are a single person running a business, if you are a micro entrepreneur, so you're a one-person business, you cannot offset costs. So here you can get a room for €65 a night. Then you have to pay the booking agency, either of Airbnb or booking.com. You can't offset that cost. You have to launder the sheets daily. You can't offset that cost. You have to provide the food for their breakfast. You cannot offset that cost. You have to heat, cool or light the room, heat it or cool it all on the same day with our funny weather, and you cannot offset those costs. So you pay in January it'd be 26% of gross of that. So you can see it's not worth the investment, it's not worth the effort, and it's not worth the return, and legally we can't do it. Next question is about the basement as well. It says, why haven't you incorporated the basement into your living area? Okay, like I said, the basement is one room. At the moment, it's perfectly adequate as storage. It's completely secure and it's locked. It's got the freezer in there, it's got my exercise bike in there, it's where we store paint and tools, the lawnmower. It does its job in the meantime. We have a long-term savings plan. So at the moment we save 20% of our income. We're really pushing our savings because we need to save up to do work on our property. We need to continue to fix up our barn, and then we're going to continue to fix up our basement, all in good time. The plans are to dry line the basement, to insulate the walls, to tile the floor, to put in a toilet and sink down there. So if we're out in the garden, we just want to come in and use a toilet without having to come into the house, to put kitchen units all the way around the room, to have a washing machine, the dryer, the freezer down there. So it will be extra storage, but that won't be until after the barn is finished, because the barn will be then secure. The barn will then be so you can't get in or out of it without letting yourself in or out. And that will be where we will be able to do things like store lawnmower, paint, tools, those kind of things. So barn first and then the basement. But we're on a reasonably small income. It takes time to save up for these things. And as for, we feel it is incorporated into our house. And another reason why we haven't turned it into a living space is because currently we have enough living space. We really hope that you enjoyed those, and if you get in quickly you can ask us some more questions that we can add to Sunday. And Sunday are lots of questions that you've asked us, and I'm sure that you'll find those interesting too. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video today, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button. If you like videos about thrifty living, saving money, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, because we know lots of you watching are not subscribers. Leave us a comment or ask us a question, and we always look forward to all of your comments. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.